Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the Blackwaters Edge podcast. That is Gary Smith, that is Kaz Kenny,
Kapow!
and I am Eddie Bramble. And Kaz, why don't you start us off with this week's fishing report?
All right, folks, let's talk about the fishing in the area. Well, down here at Blackwater, it's just been like the stock market, up and down, and it's starting to come back on the rise like we're seeing in the New York Stock Exchange. So this weekend, we're looking at some 70-degree weather on Saturday. So I think something's going to unfold here, if not Saturday afternoon, but definitely by Sunday at some time in the refuge. Matter, again, being right place, right time. But, yes, if you put the time in, I think you're going to find something. All right, let's talk about over in the Severn River. I talked to some guys today up that direction. The Magathy, the Patapsco, and the Severn, pretty much just the same thing. Some pickerel, some yellow perch, some resident stripers. That's about it there. I've talked to some fellows fishing over in the Magathy at Beechwood. Does that sound right? Magathy, is that where Beechwood is? I'm not sure. I think that's where it's at. But Beechwood, they've been catching some yellows over there, and a few whites are now starting to show up, they're saying. But mostly it's all feeder fish. It's not any kind of spawn run or anything like that. It's just some warmer water and they're feeding. Up to Susquehanna, I've talked to a couple guys up there, Butch Boyd and his guys up there. They're all kayaking in the Susquehanna, and they're getting some big blue cats, some yellow perch, and a few straggling walleye here and there from what I'm understanding. Pete's Bottom up above kind of when you go down the warm water discharge. Understanding they've got a pretty good bite of everything going on there when they've got some warm water flowing. Some really nice rockfish. Heard of a couple of nice muskies the last 2 weeks. Some big walleye, some smallmouth, some largemouth. So a nice mixed bag up there. I'm hearing in the Funk's Pond, some guys are starting to connect on some big bluegills and some big crappies, a few bass. Broad Creek, few crappies out around the brush piles and the docks, things like that. Bush River, I'm hearing yellow perch up in Gray's Run, a handful there, a handful in Bush Creek, handful in Otter Creek. Dundee, I'm hearing the Hammerman area, they're catching some yellow perch off the shore, off the beach there in the Gunpowder. They're catching some up around the bridges in the Gunpowder in Joppatown. Rumsey Island around the docks, I'm hearing crappie, bluegill, a few yellow perch, a couple chain pickerel, a few snakeheads. Let's see what else. Anything? Bush River, Patapsco, Gunpowder, Middle River. Them guys down there. A couple of people getting some resident stripers out around the power plant at Carroll Island. Some nice bass. Heard of a few snakeheads being caught. Some yellow perch. And that's about it. So that's about what I'm hearing on the fishing front. If you guys got a fishing report, like I say every week, just shoot me a PM. I'll be happy to tag you, give you some credit for your info. And it's all about trying to keep the report as honest and real as can be. So that's where I'm at.
You forgot the most important part.
What's that?
How are the snakeheads in Blackwater?
Oh, well, I just said it's been up and down. We had a couple guys that have been getting them, but it's just so like over 335. I mean, we're sitting there, we're watching them roll, we're watching them go up air. You're catching one, you're catching two. I think we're just waiting for the right conditions, and I think that this weekend, if we hit 70 degrees, I think we're going to hit some of the right conditions, and you're going to see somebody.
We're going to hit about 70 degrees for like 4 or 5 days here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're going to see some guys really picking up on some catches in the numbers for sure. I mean, this is when it happens, middle of the winter, when we get these warm days like this. That's when the feed picks up. So, Damien, Cornflower, you guys better be sitting on plenty of bait because traffic's coming this way. So let's get ready.
All right, guys. On today's episode, we have the 2019 Angler of the Year, Wayne Waters.
Yeah, baby!
What's up?
How you doing today, Wayne?
Doing good,
Good, man. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm 27 years old. I'm a Pasadena boy. All I do is outdoors. If I can't hunt, I'm fishing. That's all I do. That's how I grew up.
That's how you grew up.
That's how I grew up, man.
So, what kind of stuff have you been fishing for over the years before snakeheads?
Ooh, mainly rockfish, white perch, a lot of crappie. I'm more of a... I mainly played out in the bay, man. That's just how it was. I grew up right there by the Chesapeake Bay, so everything.
You did a lot of fishing up in the Severn and stuff like that, pan fishing, yellow perch. What got you fired up as a kid when you started fishing? What was the first fish you caught that you said, man, I love this?
Sadly, a smallmouth.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all right.
Smallmouth started it all up Green Ridge when I was little.
But you do a lot of hunting too, right?
Oh, yeah. Do a lot of hunting.
A lot of hunting. So what kind of stuff do you hunt for?
If it's got a heartbeat, I'm hunting. If I legally can take it, I am out after it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. All right, so Wayne, today we're going to talk about we're going to get you the snakehead champion of the world. We're going to get you to give some tips for all the new guys coming into snakeheads this year. So, what are some of the first things off the top of your head you can think of for tips for the new guy?
Ooh, gotta have good bait. Gotta have good hooks, good tackle. You need a nice nice rod.
Let me ask you this: when did you catch your first snakehead?
2014, I want to say, and that was deep in Blackwater where I caught it at. And I actually caught it after Kaz showed me how to properly catch these fish.
Yeah, right.
Once he showed me, it was game on.
So wait. What is the proper way to catch a fish? I got to know the story now.
Oh.
So did you feel that you got your $49.95 back?
No, I gave him the French price, $47.95.
When he says $47.95, he means $400.
So yeah, what is this story? What's the proper way to catch fish?
Well, when I was first doing it, I was just going out, just throwing minnows anywhere and everywhere. I didn't know how to actually target these fish. So I didn't know anything about how they come up, surface, how they act, where they want to be. I didn't know no way at all how to target these
Pull that mic a
fish.
little bit closer to you for me.
Up
Yep,
higher.
there you go.
Right here, you
Much
want?
better. Yep, there you go.
So I didn't know at all how to target these fish, and he pretty much took me under his wing. He said, "Come on, you want to learn how to catch these fish? Come out with me." I was thinking, man, I don't know who this guy is. This guy's crazier than hell. But all right, whatever. I want to learn how to do this. All right, I'm in.
So what did he? What's the first thing he showed you?
A bobber.
Well, first thing he did, he went through everything I got. He's like, all right, this is what you're not using right. This is what you're not using right. This is how you don't use this. So everything I was doing was wrong. He freaking broke everything down. He's like, this is how you properly use a frog. This is how you properly use your buzz baits, your chatter baits, and all for doing these fish. Then he's like, all right, here you want to use this, but let's start you off with a bobber and a minnow.
The guarantee,
what?
you know what I mean? The
I
guarantee.
said, a bobber and a minnow. He says, yeah, come on, follow me. Just take this here, put a bobber 18 inches, boom, put a hook on. That's what you want right there,
and
man.
he was pretty much a lure guy. You know, every time I see him, he's flicking little jigs under the bridge, or he's throwing a spinnerbait over here or something. You know, so
I love that artificial, man.
you do.
So how did you get into snakehead fishing? What brought you into that world?
Well, I actually was out perch fishing on a spot, and I seen one before, and I was like, oh, hold up. I want to catch one of these. And then I found out Kaz, he started catching a whole bunch of them, and he was going out and catching them every day. 20, 30, 40, every single day. I was like, all right, something's going on here now. Hold up. So my dad's like, well, why don't you go talk to him and see if he'll help you out? And I said, look, I want to catch one of these here snakeheads. I was like, how do I do it? He says, well, here, you use these types of baits to go out and catch them. I was all right, cool. So I went out and I bought the baits. Now, he told me what to buy. He didn't tell me how to use the some guns. So I bought them. I went out and I didn't know how to use them, that's for sure. I put a lot of them in the trees.
And thinking
bushes.
back here, right, it just made me think. So in 2014, we were getting a lot of stuff from Chris Leslie. The Whopper Ploppers had just come out.
Yeah,
they weren't on the market yet. The Coppers Hard Frogs had just come out. I remember that. Just trying to think. The Lunker Hunts were out at that time. You had a bunch of different frogs starting to hit the market. I mean, it was all opening up for us really, really good as far as getting outside the minnow box, you know, because we all knew about the minnow box. And I think Wayne, as far as he goes, he really opened it up a little bit more deeper once he started using lures, because he was more of a lure fisherman, let's say, so than I was, because I had gotten to the point, you know, in the beginning where I just wanted to catch them, you know, so it wasn't so much playing with lures. It wasn't so much trying other things. It was just I wanted to be guaranteed. And when I took somebody like Wayne or was introducing somebody to that, you know, I wanted to make sure they were successful. So I knew bait was the way to go. And I think that, you know, as Wayne started to I call it tuning in, you know, as guys get tuned in, you start to see them grow. They start getting it outside the box. They start getting away from the minnows. They start thinking about, hey, I wonder if this would work. I wonder if that would work. And like I tell people, same thing I told Wayne, a lot of these things in the box will work. A lot of these things in the box won't work.
Right.
But here's the thing. The thing about those baits that won't work, you will find a day that they do work. Yep. You know, so that's why I always tell people, if you've got stuff that's worked for you before, always keep it around, but don't be afraid to go outside. And I think that's one of the things that I saw Wayne and quite a few other guys in the little niche group that we kind of had in the beginning. You know, I've watched everybody grow over the years, and I've watched those guys really step outside the box with lures, baits, things like that. And I think you've seen a lot of these guys too, Eddie. over time when they start with us, they're doing minnows and stuff, and then we start showing them baits, start showing them baits, and then
people have graduated from live bait to lures, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the coolest thing about all this is we have figured out a way to approach the fish every day, and knowing what we learn with time, we're able to make decisions to make the proper adjustments so that we're successful. And I think that's the biggest thing. These guys, watching guys like Wayne Dixon, all these guys, even Matt Palm, all those guys, starting to pick up stuff, they're growing, they're trying new baits, got guys here building baits and things like that. It's really exploding, and it's guys like Wayne, and guys like him that are out there that are passing it on to other people, you know what I mean?
That's what's important.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, because as we're getting busier on our end of the stuff we're doing, those are the guys that we need out there, kind of saying, hey, try this, try that. Don't be afraid to do that. Let me help you out,
So, Wayne, what is your favorite lure for catching snakeheads?
Man, I gotta say a buzzbait, hands down. Buzzbait, buzzbait.
Everybody's there with that.
I am all out in love with the buzzbait, but Danny Duck runs close too.
You like the Danny Duck. It's funny.
Danny
It's
Duck
funny you say that, because for those of you who don't know, I just got back from Nashville from the Big Rock Sports Expo, hunting and fishing expo down there. Weston, who makes Danny the Duck, has a great new product that I'm gonna be getting here this spring. I can't wait to show you guys this product, man.
Did you want to just do a little bit more description?
No. That's
sure?
it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, leave them hanging out there like that, Eddie. That's not right, but hey, that's good.
So Wayne, when you're snakehead fishing, what's your choice of gear? What's your favorite gear? Your rod, your reel, the whole works here.
So I got carotid DCs for baitcaster reels stacked with 50-pound braid, the Power Pro. All my rods are customs. I have custom rods made everywhere you can think of, everywhere I could come up with. Hey, I'll make custom rods. If you make custom rods, hey, shoot me a message. We can make a deal going.
What are some of the custom rods you've had built for you? Is there any companies that you would recommend out there for the new guy that might be looking for a rod?
B&B Customs does really good work.
That's Brian Mulhausen, right?
Yep. Kent Ayers Customs. Oh yeah, they're top of the line. Denton Rod and Tackle. They do good customs.
How about Daryl Willie? Have you got anything from him yet?
I haven't got.
I understand
one yet
he's building some stuff too. So.
Oh, there you go. You know who to message, man.
I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about some of the names I've seen. Just wondering if you've seen Backyard Customs. I think that's a name that's sticking out in my head. I've heard of them before.
I haven't got one of theirs yet. I got right now. Those three companies right now. I have customs from them. I bought random customs, but they. A lot of the local customs I've had good work with, but I went out and bought custom rods from places in Virginia and stuff, and it just had them absolutely just fall apart.
So you're more of a guy who wants to deal with the let's say quote unquote local, custom, homemade, backyard guy, not fancy, just trying to do a good job.
Small company, local business, you can get my money, man.
Very good, very good.
Good deal. So what's the largest snakehead you ever caught, Wayne, and then what'd you catch him on?
I caught a 14.5 on a fluke, and that was earlier this year. That was during actually just spawn. I actually caught her. And what it was is I seen her come up and take a gulp. I hurry up, tie the fluke on. I was like, oh, man, I want to cast it. Of course, I backlash. Didn't make it to her. Hits the water. I'm sitting there playing with the backlash. I look up, and all I can see is this weight just rolling straight for the fluke. I'm like, oh, all right. So here it is. I reeled the backlash into the reel. I said, hope for the best. It hit it, and I set the hook. I started fighting it in. I was like, oh, man, this is a big one. This is good. So I started yelling. I got Matt Palm out there. I got him yelling at Chris Dixon. I was like, somebody bring me a net. Oh, this is a monster. And I'm like, I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to go. Right? And I'm getting it up there. Fish ain't running. I'm like, oh. It doesn't know it's hooked. I was all right, here we go. I'm getting it closer to the boat. Sees the kayak and bolts. And as soon as it takes off, I look and all I'm seeing is the knot in my brain.
Oh, God.
Coming. I'm like, oh, no. It hits this knot. It's gone. It stopped. I freaking cranked the drag up. I was all right. Start bringing her back to me. Finally get the net in order. They're starting to get closer. I get her in the net, yank her onto the kayak as quick as I could. And that was the end of her. That was the end of her.
What's the most you've caught in a day?
130.
130. That's
130.
That is a lot of fish in one day.
That was one of the cold water bites last year when the fish were just starting to plump up for the winter. And what it was, I got down there wasn't a lot of people on the bridges, and everybody just, like, oh, it's getting a little cold out. Well, I don't want to fish no more. Hey, man, some of the times you find a nice deep spot, it comes up to a nice mud flat, man. You get a bait in there, they going to eat. When they eat,
I can tell you what.
Always the mud
And
flats.
I can tell you what. I mean, the bridges, I think we get 2 or 3 nice warm days. Let me tell you what, you're going to see. I think we're going to see the first big numbers day coming
next couple
this
days.
week. Yeah, because we've had such a long lull of a heavy feed, let's say, from the time we slowed down end of November, through mid-December. They got to be starving, dude. They got to be starving. I mean, even them little fish, when they're going to wake up, I mean, they're starving. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's coming. So, I know that's going to happen.
It's just a matter of time. It's definitely on its way, like you're saying, Kaz. It's just a matter of when that is finally going to drop. Everybody's waiting for it. I know everybody's excited
and
for
while
it.
we're talking about it, being that we're talking about maybe a numbers explosion, Wayne, when you're out there and you're on your kayak or you're out there and you're away from your vehicle, what is the best way for you to take care of your fish? I mean, what do you keep them in a cooler bag? I know a lot of you guys are doing different things, cooler backpacks. I mean, so, how do you keep your fish? If you're out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's a 90-degree day, and we're going to go through the day, and we're at 10 o'clock, and we've got 5 fish in in our boat. We got to get them cold. What do you do?
So I got the 12-8 Ascend, and when I open up that lower hatch close to the water, it actually stays cold underneath. So when I get my fish, I dispose of it real quick. I get it down in there. It's out of the sun. It's to a cool surface the whole time. And that's good for a good 8 hours.
So what's your disposal tool for the snakeheads?
Depends how I feel that day.
Well, when you're on the kayak.
Sometimes a baseball bat, sometimes a hammer, babe. It depends how I feel.
Do you see more of an issue trying to dispatch your fish from a kayak than you do when you're in other situations? I mean, I'm sure, of course, but that's what you found to be the easiest for you is the hammer or the bat.
Best way to do it is keep it in the net, fold the net over, and keep them right tight to the side of the boat,
Bash
man.
them tight.
That or have somebody else with you. If you got somebody with you, hey.
That makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, all you got to do is get one of you to pin it down, and the other one can whack it real quick. Trust me. But you got to have somebody you trust. That is definitely one of the main things.
Now you eat a lot of snakeheads. I think Gary's got something for you.
Yeah, do you got any favorite recipes?
I like blackened snakehead.
Blackened.
I like blackened snakehead so much. And fish tacos. The woman loves fish tacos. I'm with her. I make them all the time.
So that's it, just blackened snakehead or fish tacos. That's your two favorite.
There's so much you can do with it, though. I mean, gosh, the opportunities are just endless,
Oh, we've done fish cakes, smoked. Done all kinds of ways. Done it on the grill. Done stuffed. Oh man, you never know.
Ceviche. Chad was posting something the other day. Some kind of ceviche. Somebody was posting something with some ceviche. I tell you, that's another thing. The whole recipes page thing. People are starting to really post up on that too.
Yeah. People are paying attention.
Sharing stuff to that.
Yep.
You hunt a lot too, right?
Oh yeah.
So, what percentage of your diet is snakeheads and what you hunt and fish for?
All right. So how my life goes is during the winter I fill the freezer with deer meat, ducks. Come spring, it's, get a couple turkeys or whatever. All summer long, I have deer meat, turkey, or whatever that is. I have that game through the summer. Come wintertime, I got crab meat, and I got snakehead, rockfish. That's how I go through the winter.
You're ready to roll.
That's how I've been. That's how I was great. That's how I was raised. It's,
Yep.
If anything ever happened, it'd come down to it was a survival situation. I'm coming out heavier, man. I hate to say it, man. I'm gonna come out bigger. I ain't gonna lose no weight. I'm a survivor, bud. I mean, there ain't nothing out here I can't catch or hunt.
That's right.
What's your favorite species to hunt? What do you like to hunt the most?
Sicket deer and waterfowl.
I know you just spent some time with some wounded warriors. Tell us a little bit about that. What happened here a couple weeks ago? Didn't you take some guys out? Doing some of that.
We took some patriots out. We did a patriot hunt. We took them out to shoot sea ducks. They don't get the opportunity. They came from Georgia, North Carolina, all over down there. We had some come down from up north, come down to hunt. They don't have the opportunity that we have. One of them, he says to us, we're out there, we're hunting for sea ducks. He says, "Yeah, I've never shot a bufflehead." "You ain't never shot a bufflehead? I mean, we got them all over the place." He goes, "Oh, we don't see them." I said, "Where are you from?" He says, "Oh, I'm from North Carolina. We we don't see
How about that?
buffalo heads.
Wow.
So you're bringing some fellas in from outside of Maryland. I mean, you're helping out some people across the country.
Hey
then.
man, they could be outside of Maryland. They could be in Maryland. If they want to get out and hunt, man, I'll take you out to
Just
hunt. I ain't
let
scared.
Wayne know.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I ain't scared.
Wayne, before we forget about it, why don't we go over your 2019 tournament season real quick?
Yeah,
we haven't even got into that yet.
Yeah.
So you didn't even win a single tournament all year for us. So
Hey man, I just had to fish.
that's it. So you were very consistent with your fishing all year, but you never actually came out on top in either tournament. But you did really well. You always were in the. It always seemed to be in the top 5 anyway of each category anyway. So what was some of your favorite moments of the tournament?
Probably the first tournament we did. The first tournament we did, we were deep. I mean, deep in there. I mean, we paddled 14 miles back.
Holy cow!
Chris Dixon, he's following me. He's like, dude, where are we going? I said, I know a spot. Let's just keep going. We'll just keep going. He says, man, you had me park my truck all the way at the other end of the river, and you parked at the other side, and we're paddling all the way towards my truck. I was like, yeah. He says, well, why are we doing that? I said, because the wind's going to blow us back up to my truck. If the wind changes, we'll go down to yours. But if it keeps going the way it's going,
That's a good plan
we're
of
going
attack.
back to my truck.
Have a good way out the back door if you need to.
You got to, man.
Tied in the wind.
But man, we got deep in there. I mean, we were actually fishing flooded timber.
So how many did you catch that day?
That day was we caught probably 20 fish between me and him, but out of that 20, we lost. we lost some fish
hammers.
that we
That's what I tell guys, even on the days when we're
Shit,
catching like
wrong.
150. I'm like, dude, imagine if we got all the ones that we lost plus the 150, you know?
Yeah, that's
Right. Think about the days that me and him said, hey, we're not coming in. Look, man, we're always catching fish. Trust me. If we're saying we're not coming in, then we found something that we really want, and we're not leaving it. I mean,
so that 14-pounder, what was your PB is what?
at 14.5.
14.5, but that wasn't during a tournament. So what was your,
It's the weekend,
what-
right before the weekend of the tournament. I caught
I remember
that
the
fish.
story.
I was like, man, you've got to be kidding me. I caught it the Saturday before the weekend of the tournament, and I was like, man, this sucks. So the next day I turn around. I have nothing better to do, but I get back out the same spot. Damn if I don't catch a 13.6. I was all right. Tournament weekend. This is where I'm going to be. I'm in there. Tournament weekend. Couldn't get one over 10 pounds. I was like, this sucks.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
So what was your best fish during the tournament? Do you remember?
My best during the tournament was, I think, only 11 something.
I think it was under 12 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get no big 12s on there.
No. So you but you won 3 Calcuttas, I think it was.
I won 3 Calcuttas on one of them, and I placed like 5th place.
Right.
I placed 5th, and then I won like 3 or 4 Calcuttas in one shot.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That.
You took away a pretty good bit this year, I think. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh yeah.
I look at the guys that won money and what they got prize wise and stuff like that. Them guys made out pretty dang good. I mean, you ask me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, get custom ride with that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right. everybody had a good time too.
Or
And that's
two.
what's
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Everybody had a real good time. What'd you think?
Oh, I had a blast.
Yeah, that's
I'm ready for
Even
this.
on the
That's-
slow days, I
that's
mean,
what
everybody
matters.
was still
Well, so we didn't
smiling,
even fish,
you know?
man, and it was fun.
exactly. Yeah. We didn't fish neither day, and it was great
Yeah.
for us.
It really depends on, you get out there. It's the crowd you put yourself with. I mean, if you really want to have a good time, if you ain't catching fish, put yourself with a good crowd, man. You'll have a great time, trust me. Especially when you're sitting there and you look over and your buddy loses a monster right at the boat.
You surround yourself with the winners, not the complainers, because them guys breaking off fish are going to drag me down all day. I don't need to hear it. I've already lost enough of my
That's
fish. I don't need
exactly
to
right.
wear your batter too. So.
Just to see the first ones come in with the fish, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
at 5 minutes to 5, you hear somebody when they pull out the intersection Church Creek coming to Wolford.
Right.
Well, that was
And the
who was
kids, the little kids too.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I think Mary, she pulled up with like 2 minutes to go
Yeah,
in that
2
one
minutes out,
tournament.
yeah.
That was fun to watch. So Wayne, but there was one day where you didn't even one tournament you didn't even come in for the first day. So
Nope.
tell us about that. What
Yeah,
happened there?
actually, we paddled way down the river, and what it was, the fish bite. It was a cold day. We had one of them bad cold snaps, and they just turned off. We couldn't get them to bite. We tried subsurface. We even tried slow rolling the bottom. Just couldn't get them to bite. I was like, all right, the last hour of the tournament, light switch, they're on. they start biting. I'm like, all right, well, I'm an hour from my truck. I ain't going to try and make the tournament. There ain't no way. So here it is. We shoot a text over. There's actually 3 of us that were in the tournament fishing in the same area, and all 3 of us sent the text over saying, hey, we're not going to make it in.
That. Yep, that was a
And hold on, stop right there. I want to make a point. Now, look, he just said how many guys were fishing that area?
3.
And they all weren't fighting or arguing or cussing one another out, and they're in a tournament.
Like I said.
Right? Okay. Back to this program.
Hey, it might be a tournament, but we do a buddy system,
Right.
man. We're all anglers. I mean, at the end of the day, you're fishing with a friend. I mean, it don't matter.
Right.
You guys might not be friends right then and there, but hey, sooner or later you're going to be.
Right.
Y'all doing the same shit.
When you're fishing, what Blackwater is such a dark river system. How do you target these snakeheads?
Oh, man. I mean, look for bubbles.
Bubbles.
Look for bubbles. I look for... So I do a lot of bass fishing. So you look for a lot of, like, cover. You look for the grass. The grass, every grass patch you look at, it all builds out like a little shelf. It comes out, and it's got this inner little gut. That inner gut, that's where they're going to lay. They're predator fish, man. They're going to lay right up in that inner gut where they can pop out, suck air, and flip right back into there.
That's a real good tip. Yeah.
And then that's where they're going to stay. You're going to run that. If you do it with a buzzbait, you run it right down the grass line, do a fast roll, do a slow roll, get it as slow as you can so it's just barely popping across the top. If you get a little motion, you see something move, do it again. If it doesn't do it again, grab a fluke, flow a fluke right in there. Do that if you have to, man. You just got to change your tactic.
I tell people, I mean, I just honestly believe this fish's memory is sharp. I mean, I do.
They do. They have really good memories. If you miss a fish with one bait, you might as well just change your bait because you're not going to hit them again.
That's what I always do. Like if I miss one on one, I go back the second time, like Wayne just said. And if I don't see anything on the second go, I know that fish ain't gone nowhere. You know, I know it's there somewhere within 20 feet of where that bite was at. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like fishing the fry ball. You know, you
same
get one,
thing.
but it's hard to get that second one off there.
Oh yeah, they educate quick.
How many did you get off fry balls this year?
I don't fish fry balls.
You don't fish fry balls at all. I did not know that.
I don't need to.
Don't need to.
I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it. It might sound cocky and all, but anybody can catch a fish off a fry ball. They are protecting their babies.
Right.
Okay. Anybody can pull up and say, "Oh well, there's a fry ball. Its parents has got to be here, so I already know there's 2 fish here somewhere, or at least one." So I just cast here. All I got to do is make it pissed off enough to where it's going to bite. I know it's there. It's going to happen. Sooner or later, I'm going to have this fish. Okay, anybody can do that.
So
Can you go and find them and actually target them and catch them? That's where the angler comes out of you.
And then that's what I was going to say. I mean, that's you stepping out the box. That's you taking the risk. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys know that. You know, I know for me, I got a pretty good chance of getting something off of a fry ball, or at least getting some kind of activity. I don't know that I've got that much of a chance beating the bank when they're paired up, they're spawning in their garden fry. So when you see a guy like Wayne or some, like I'm saying, we're watching these guys grow, you know. 3 years ago, they weren't doing this. I mean, these guys weren't doing that. So, he's learned as he's gone. He's thinking outside the box. And this is where we're trying to do this show to try to help the new guy that might be struggling, that might have questions. You know, that's the whole purpose of this show is we want to try to get Wayne in here, help the new guy out, point him in the right direction, make sure his trip's a success, especially if he's driving 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours or 10 hours to come here and catch a snakehead.
Hey, if they do it during the weekend, we're out fishing, man. You got Damian Cook, you got Chris Dixon, you got me out there. You got a whole bunch of us out there, man. You bump in any of us
You
and
got
say,
the
hey,
three
man.
musketeers, man.
There's plenty of vets to go around to help somebody out for their first time.
You bump into us, and we're going to tell you how to go out. And we're gonna, if you want to tag along, you can tag along. What we do is one of us will take one side, the other one will take the other side, and we'll work our way right down the shoreline.
Now, I know we're jumping all over the place, but, we're talking about the fish. A lot of guys ask questions about leaders. You know, do you use a leader, Wayne, or how do you approach the fish when fishing gets tricky and fishing's tough? Are you one of these guys that starts to use a fluorocarbon leader or something like that, or do you just stay with the game plan?
Nope, I run braid straight to it. I knot it right at the braid, and I'll double the braid up sometimes.
What kind of knot are you using on your baits?
Regular fishing knot.
So, what kind of braid did you say you like again? You like Power Pro?
Power Pro.
Power Pro.
50-pound braid, baby.
50 pound. 50 pound.
Now you're
I like fishing structure, man. You
Yeah,
gotta be able to pull them up out of there. If you can't pull them up out of there,
Yeah,
Just-
got to be able to break
they're
a
gonna win.
branch off.
We talked about your rod size, reel wise. What size series rod or reel do you like to use as far as for your? For me, I like to stay with a 3,000 or 4,000 series rod. I don't like small reels. I don't like real big reels. So I guess I'm trying to ask if the new guy's saying, do I want something big? Do I want something small? Do I want something? How much line do I want to be able to hold on my reel? I mean, I would say you want to hold 200 yards, 150, 200 yards anyway.
It all leans on the angler. I mean, you got to choose what you like, what fits you. I can tell you what I use, but that doesn't mean that you're going to pick it up and be like, oh, man, this thing is great.
Well, what do you use? Let's tell them. Maybe they might
me,
look at it.
Everything I do is, I got a regular Crowded DC, which, it's what?
So you're throwing mostly bait casters, not spinning reels?
That's all I do is bait casters.
So all you're doing is bait casters.
Everything's
Okay.
bait casters. I got a medium heavy rod. I usually do 6'6" to a 7-foot rod. I mean, that's what I'm comfortable with.
That seems to be what a lot of people are saying too in the threads and in the comments.
6'6" is the most common, I think.
Yeah, it's what I'm comfortable with. I mean,
Right.
I can get the right flip out of it. It's not too long, And if I go shorter than that, it don't feel right to me. It does not sit right. I don't know why.
Does it just not feel right, or you don't get enough action, or
No, it don't feel right to
Just
me.
doesn't feel right.
Let's
It feels weird.
well, if you had to pick 5 lures. If you had 5 lures that I was going to say to you, Wayne, okay, here's your challenge. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about we should do like some kind of like a weekend tournament thing or something where we pick 5 lures and there's only 5 lures you can
Only
use for the
allowed to- oh,
tournament.
that's
You
a
know
good
what I
idea.
mean? And
We'll
you
have
have 4 hours. We have a shotgun time this time to this time. You got 4 hours. Got to get it done with 5 lures. I think we're onto something with that there,
that's
pal.
we'll look into that more.
Yeah.
So what are your top 5 lures, Wayne?
Top 5. Buzzbait.
And okay, so
Buzzbait. Buzzbait.
okay.
My Danny Duck. I like the Scum Frog. Gotta have one of them. I gotta have some kind of swim shed. So I can have busting bait. I can do any kind of fluke. I just gotta have some type of swim shed that I can flip out there, get a float, slow it. And number 5, chatterbait.
Chatterbait always gets it done, man.
Where-
I don't always get it done, but
where-
it does get it done.
Where's your map spinner at in them 5?
I don't use it.
Not a MEPS guy.
I don't use it. I mean, it catches your fish, but I mean, you can go out there and catch all kinds of size fish. I mean, I'm not gonna knock on you can't catch monsters with it. I have a problem with I mainly target 10 pounds or bigger snakeheads.
Well,
everything I go after is usually monster snakeheads.
I don't mean to cut you out, but I think Kaz has a story here about the old MEPS spinner he was putting somebody else on.
That was with who was that a couple weeks ago? Mike Stewart. Yeah, that was
Mike. Would you tell Mike?
He'd been down here for like 6 hours fishing, and he reached out to me. He said, "Hey man," he said, "You got anything you can suggest to me?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said over 335. Sent him a little map, told him where to stand, where to cast. He didn't even make 3 casts without maps. And I told him, said, "Look," I said, "you're gonna throw the maps. Make sure you do my little trick. Take a snakehead destroyer from the bait boys and tip that bad boy in one of them treble hooks when you're casting it, fan cast it." He said 3 casts. He had one. It was like 8 pounds. And not only like 20 minutes go by, I get this video. He's screaming, cussing out of breath, ready to fall over in the rocks and die. Bleeding everywhere from the battle with the snakehead. They got in a fist fight when he got it on the back. No, it wasn't that bad. But no, I think it was like 13 or something like that. That was the other one he got on the map. So
Yeah, his second one, I think
Yeah.
it was 13 pounds.
Yeah, but
instead of the second one was.
yeah, 13 something. But again, we're down to if they're going to eat, they're going to eat too. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
So you're like me. You fish the shorelines, and maps don't do you any good on the shoreline.
No.
I mean,
Gonna
it
be hung
can.
up and everything.
It can, but
Well, yeah, but when the water's up high, but for the most part,
You know,
it's shallow.
it's funny you say that. I don't mean I'll give this one away because I didn't end up getting any of these. I was down in Nashville. MEPS has a combo out now. It's weedless. It's a single hook weedless with a grub with a
The
twisted
Black
tail.
Fury.
The Black Fury
Fury.
combo. They call it a Black Fury combo. It's got a grub with a twister tail on it, but it's got the MEPS spinner on the front of it. And I tell you what, that thing looked pretty.
I tell you what I liked about it is I think that you're going to be able to throw a weedless frog on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, I look at it this way. I'm not going to buy one, but that don't mean next year I won't be cutting one out of a tree, okay? let's keep
Salvage, man.
let's keep it 100 here. I don't know how many lures I've cut down out of the trees and all, and been like, hey, man, I feel bad for whoever lost this, but I'm gonna take this and go catch a fish on it now.
When do you think you catch your most fish? Let me rephrase it. When do you think you catch the biggest fish of the year? Colder months or warmer months?
Before the spawn.
Just before the spawn.
Just before the spawn, man. If you can get them before the spawn, whether it's the first spawn, the second spawn, the third spawn, it don't matter. You just gotta get that big female and male before they spawn out. Once they spawn out, they just get thin, slick, and it's like they never fatten up to that fat until the fall, so they get back into wintertime again. You know, once they plump up, we get the mud shad back in. We'll get the mud shad pushed back in, and then boom, they'll start eating again. You'll kill a freaking 10-pound fish. So look in its stomach, boom, there's a 12-inch mud shad. Like, come on now, who expects that thing to choke that down like that?
So I gotta ask this question. As an angler in the refuge, you've been fishing here a long time. What have you seen change in the refuge? As far as the areas you fish, what have you seen?
So, white perch numbers down. I mean, I used to go to the spot and catch hundreds of white perch. I went there this year. Couldn't even fill a bucket up with white perch.
I agree. We've been there the last 3 weeks looking.
I did catch 27 snakeheads there. I mean, I used to go back there and catch bass. I mean, bass, they push deeper in. They're trying to get away from the snakeheads. They're up in there. You can hear them deep in the grass. But they're not out where they used to be. They're not laying on the trees. They're not laying on the cover like they used to be. It's not that I don't know how to catch bass. It's just they're not doing the old routine.
So you were in agreement that the bass population, you think, probably has suffered a little bit here from the introduction?
They're definitely hurting. I mean, I look at it this way. A lot of people won't say it. They'll be like, this guy's wrong. I caught the small bass here. Yeah, you caught one. Maybe two.
How many? Because me and you used to do it. Let's go back 6-7 years ago. Me, you, and your dad down on Newbridge fishing on a winter day, casting some swim baits and some darts. How many?
Catching 20 bass and freaking 100 and something crappie.
I mean, that whole flat right there on the side of Newbridge, on the top side of that bridge, we used to throw them 4-inch swim baits and just nail them bass all winter long.
Well, even if you talk to the bass clubs that are out here doing the tournaments, they do these tournaments on the weekends. You talk to them, hey man, how many bass you get? Oh man, I'm struggling to get my 5 fish for weighing. Five bass for weighing. They're out there for 8 hours. 5 fish for weighing. How many snakeheads you got? Man, I hate these things. I've killed 20 plus. And they're killing big ones too. It's not like they're killing small ones, and they're just out there, they're just trying to catch a bass.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is as anglers, that we're just doing what we can do. We're not asking people just to maraud the water.
They're taking them with them. I mean, it's not like they're just killing them and throwing them in the water.
But the biggest thing is that we're trying to be proactive, and we're trying to get some of these fish out of the water. To try to maybe loosen some area up for some other fish to do something.
So what you see is eagles, you see ospreys, and you see blue herons. See some people taking snakeheads. Where's the other predators? You don't really. I haven't seen a snapper turtle eat one yet.
That's it. I think I do have one report of finding a snakehead in a turtle belly. But
how many turtles you found on a snakehead belly?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Once the snakehead gets bigger than a bass, the only natural predator it has is a bird. And that's point. And in this area anyway, in the Blackwater Refuge,
or a big snapper turtle. But you got to keep in mind, snapper turtle. We got turtle trapping down here, babe.
Now I will say this: I have multiple people telling me, if you have a bunch of snapping turtles in your pond, snakeheads won't go in there. They've seen eagles drop snakeheads in the pond, and the pond has 0 snakeheads in it in 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. They've left some. I mean, we know they can swiggle across land to get to one pond to the next. They do not like it when there's a big snapper turtle in the area.
Or they get ate up as soon as they hit the water.
that could be a case too.
I think that's what it is. I think they hit the water and they're stunned. By the time they get their crap back together, go.
Well, I'm sure when they're introduced like that, it's like dumping a bucket of minnows in a pond.
Exactly.
Shock them.
Man, my bass come from everywhere.
Yep.
Crappie and everything come up the top because they're disoriented. It's new to them and they don't even know where to go, and they're just swimming around. You pour minnows in my pond, and they all get in a little school on top, and the bass just bust them up.
But it's funny.
It's pretty to watch.
If there's snapping turtles in a pond, you're not going to find snakeheads in that pond. Point blank. Period. That's just how it is.
Hey, maybe we should introduce snapping turtles to the duck ponds now, because that might help get the snakeheads out of duck ponds.
Yeah, but they eat ducks.
Yeah,
I know.
There's only one pond that don't work at. Church pond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you see snapper turtles all the time. But you always hear about people catching snakes.
That's true. That's true.
So, like I said, it's
There's
one
always
of them.
there's always an exception to the rule.
There is with these
But
snakeheads.
it's always that one little factor of who's the dominant predator in the area. Whether the snapper turtle is able to trick the snakehead into coming in close enough for him to get a bite out of it, or whether it's the snapper turtle picking up and going to another spot. You know.
So, the festival. Do you want to talk about that? Anything?
So Wayne, before we go here, I want for everybody that's watching on YouTube. I'm sorry for the podcast guys, but for everybody watching on YouTube, we've got to show off what you won last year for Angler of the Year.
Oh man, it's all the way over there.
Oh,
Here, I'll tell you what. You stay right where you are. I got you.
I like this. Hey, go get that for me.
We'll take care of the champion.
Yeah, hey,
So,
Would you like some coffee?
So for this year's tournament,
hey,
everybody,
make me a sandwich while you're up.
remember.
So this was Wayne's championship trophy for winning Angler of the Year. This was his prized possession now.
Every tournament on the sides, all four of them. And big one up front.
There he is.
So
2019 Angler of the Year. That's the man right there.
somebody can get
Hey.
that this year.
That's
There's another one up for grabs this year.
And that's it.
There's only one way to get it.
That's right.
Come and play.
You got
Let's
to
do
beat
it.
out Wayne to get the 2020 Angler of the Year.
Real
Let's do it.
quick before we forget
Yep.
the festival. You know, we are set in place. We are now selling booths.
Yep.
Do you want to discuss any price here? Or just want to wait till we
No,
talk?
we'll talk to them
Okay,
a bit,
so booths are available. We have 52 as of right now. I know that we are probably looking at 20 plus that are committed to. So if you need a booth, need to get to us. Tournament trail announcements are coming very soon.
Very soon. Yep, we'll have that information.
5
very soon.
tournaments around the bay, 1 classic here on the Eastern Shore. We're going to reach out to some organizations, see if they want to co-sponsor tournaments, help us to bring them underway around the bay. I know that Westside Snakes, they want to get on one. I've reached out to the Marker Club, asked them if they want to host one. I'm waiting to hear back on that. So if you are a club, a marina, anywhere up there around the bay, and you want to do something, let us know.
You don't have to be a snakehead club. If you're just a fishing club
Yeah.
and you want to hold a snakehead tournament, get a hold of us and we'll try.
And we'll put one of those tournaments in your area.
Yep, exactly right. So we'll try to integrate that into the Snakehead Tournament Trail. I think that about covers everything. We got the tournament trail, we've got the festival, got the Angler of the Year here. He's still doing well for us. He's going to come try and repeat for us. But I think that's it for us.
Applications going to be online, right?
What's that?
Applications will be online. You'll be able to.
We'll figure that out. We'll talk with the vendors about that. But yeah, we'll figure out one way or the other.
Me and Gary are coming to see you people to take your money.
So for Gary Smith, Kaz Kenny, Snakehead Angler of the Year, Wayne Waters, and myself, thank everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.
We out.